Hi, everyone. I am doing an episode about connecting, strengthening, elevating your intuition so that you can know that you're making the right decisions in your life, that you're cultivating the right experiences, and just ultimately have that connection with yourself because that is truly where the answers lie. That's where I found my power and my purpose. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome to Float Activity, a place to inspire and empower beings to embrace self-love and self-development for an achievable balance of productivity. I share different ways to come back to your intuition through spirituality, self-care, human design, cycle planning, wellness, and everything in between. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you've been here with me before, thank you so much for coming back. I'm so excited to join you in this journey as we learn together. Welcome to the intuition episode, and this episode is going to be about the things that have really helped me cultivate, strengthen, find my intuition, and really use it to my advantage as much as I can. And I am going to share with the 3 things that have changed my life. And then after that, I'm going to share some actual tangible things that I use in my life to connect with my intuition. But I'm going to talk about 3 things that have changed my life on how to connect with my intuition. And I have free resources for all 3 things so that you can get started. But understand, this stuff is very overwhelming. I can tell you from my own personal experience. And so my goal is, 1, I'm going to kind of talk it out of these 3 things and where you feel like you would want to start in this process. And then always know that this is exactly what I do to empower people. So if you really want to dive in and have external perception on really how to hone in on your gifts, that's what I'm here for. And so here's the 3 questions, and they happen to relate to 3 of the modalities that I use. Do you need help in creating standard operating procedures to complete home work tasks for more flow and efficiency? If that's something that you resonate with, I suggest you start with your cycle. If you want to understand how to make decisions easier, elevate your intuition, and take the aligned action, then I would say start with your human design. And if you want to navigate how to solve problems and roadblocks, then we start with your cosmic blueprint or your astrology chart. My personal experience was using my cycle, then my human design, and then I used astrology to support myself through. And so just know that we're all different, and it's just finding the thing that resonates with you. And also know that you don't have to learn about all those things. You can find someone who's passionate to learn all those things for you and book a session with me, because I really find so much love and fulfillment out of teaching others about their gifts and how they can utilize it. And life being overwhelmed is just not the way I want people to live, because I was that person 3 years ago, and it doesn't have to be that hard. The biggest thing that you have to understand is you can change it, because I did, but it starts with you making the decision of taking that little aligned action every day towards that life that you want in your life. And so really figuring out your values, what is important to you. And that path can feel so lonely, and know that it doesn't have to be lonely. And I'm here. So you know where to find all that information, the free resources, the coaching packages, all those things that you can apply for will be in the show notes. If you're new here, I'm Kara, and I found a lot of power in understanding how my cycle is. And I am someone that wants to kind of figure out how things operate. And so I finally figured out the one thing in life that I'm meant to figure out exactly how it operates, and that is myself. And so I want to empower you to figure out how you operate so that you can be as efficient in the best feeling way possible, because that's the whole purpose. Is my previous self would kind of hustle until I was depleted, and it left me completely burnt out. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else. So if I can show other people how to really connect with themselves and honor the cycle they're in, whether that's their menstrual cycle, the moon cycle, the cycle of life, and leaning into it. And it's hard and it's not easy. It's easier said than done. I used my cycle to kind of ignite that. I didn't realize my hustle turned off the divine feminine that was within me. And I found it in learning what my cycle was and how to use it to my advantage. I've had other episodes that have helped me in the past. I can link them in the show notes, books, certain podcasts, whatnot, that have helped me understand my cycle and kind of use it to really propel myself forward in a productive way, but that feels good. Not like hustle culture by any means. And it's just knowing when I should lean into certain energy, because sometimes I don't listen to my body. Now that I know that this is within me and that I should listen to these signs, it really empowered me to use my strengths and understand my weaknesses and leaning into those parts of my life. And so if you can just take that step of learning about your cycle, learning about those cyclical patterns. That's really where the power lies. Learning about those cyclical patterns, honoring them, allowing them, and not telling yourself, oh, X, Y, and Z needs to get done. I need to do these first before I rest. And knowing that taking care of yourself first before things are done is ultimately what's going to stop you from burning out. Because if your body's telling you you need to rest, it doesn't mean, hey, I need to finish these things before I rest. And as someone that really wants to finish things, it was a hard concept for me to allow in my life. And for me to be able to utilize it, it was kind of planning ahead so that I wasn't setting myself up for failure, changing my expectations of what I can do in that time period. And so knowing that there is a time where I want to see the people and do the things, and there is a time where I want to be in my sweatpants, I want to be wearing my sweatshirt, I want to read, I want to retract, I want to rest. And so knowing that there's different parts of the month that those things are enjoyable or not enjoyable, and just allowing that to come through. And so for me, it's looking ahead, planning ahead so that I'm not disappointed and thinking that I can do more than what my body is built to do in that time. So I encourage you to listen to my other episodes. I have some free resources for you to use. And if you have any suggestions of what you need, I'd love an email, and if it just is in my realm of creating something digital for you, I would love to help. I always love feedback, and if it works with me and I'm able to do it, then I'd love to produce that for you guys. So really connecting with my cycle has strengthened my intuition because my body recognizes that we now have a relationship, that we understand each other, and that we've merged as one, and that I'm not fighting to be someone else than I am in that place that I'm at. It also means, and this is coming from experience right now, it's like a real life problem for me, is I've found, especially in the last year, that I've gotten sick a lot during my summer ovulation or the beginning of my luteal phase. And that is when I'm the most productive. That is when most people are the most productive if they experience a cycle. It's always disappointing for me because I'm raring to go. And I find that when I lean into not feeling well and not overdoing it for myself, because, it'd be let me just get this done and then I'll rest. And it's nope, your body's telling you need to rest now. And when I've leaned into just leaning into I'm not feeling well, I should probably rest, I bounce back so much quicker than what I have in the past that I've just been depleted and I can't catch up. I can say from my own experience is when my body's time to tell me to rest, no matter the time, the phase of my cycle that I'm experiencing, it's been a much more enjoyable cycle when I listen to that, and then I can bounce back quicker. So knowing that when we connect with our bodies, we are strengthening our intuition, and it just so happens me using healing my divine feminine with my cycle really unlocked something in me that I did not know existed. So I encourage you to try it out. see how it fits. Just understanding and learning about the phases that you experience and then using them in your life. So there's a free resource in the show notes. The next thing that I want to talk about is human design. And human design was one of those things that I came across, I don't even want to say by accident. Like, I love self-development. So this is a lot about self-development. It's about those, personality tests and understanding kind of how you fit. Human design is very different from that. There's so many aspects to it. And again, I have other episodes explaining what human design is, but I'm going to just talk about two things today. I find that when you start living by your inner authority and your strategy, it will unlock and elevate your intuition. With human design, there's two things that I find can change your life. If you understand and honor your inner authority and your strategy, it then unlocks you to another level of your intuition. And so I find that a lot of times human design does not resonate with everyone, especially their type, because they are not using their inner authority and their strategy correctly for them to feel like it's a match. And so many people want to know what your type is, but if you're not living by your inner authority and your strategy, your type might not feel resonant to you. And so understanding that your authority is how you make decisions and knowing how you should make decisions is ultimately connected to your intuition. It's allowing the space to come through and seeing how your body reacts. And so I am throwing out an idea of doing a series of just doing a mini informational episode about each inner authority and then adding a mini meditation to it so that you can connect with it, strengthen it, and kind of lean into what that inner authority means to you and how you can take it and utilize it in your life. So the other important piece of human design is your strategy. And so your inner authority comes first because once you connect with how you should make that decision, the strategy is how you should take aligned action or a certain set of rules that determines a response to a situation. And this is how you should interact with outside circumstances or utilize your energy. And so it is determined by your human design type. Again, if you're not using your strategy, you're not going to resonate with your type or other pieces to it. Really connecting with those pieces can help you take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. Because with my human design, not everything resonated with me in the beginning. I learned a little bit about my human design, but I was more interested in diving into other people's charts. I found out what I needed and I kind of moved on and wanted to empower other people. And it was only recently that I started to really dive into the nitty-gritty of my chart because these two things are so small. There's so much in a human design chart. Just getting started for people is overwhelming. So I just want to empower you to take these two little pieces and spend some time with them and consider opening up more about your human design, but just understand them, understand how they operate in you. I hope that these mini episodes / with the mini meditation will help you connect with these powers in your human design. And so the last piece of understanding who you are with your intuition, of the things that I use to help coach people to connect with their intuition, is astrology. And I look at it on how to navigate problems and roadblocks by using your cosmic blueprint or your astrology chart. There's so much complexity to it. So I feel like for someone to look and try and decode their astrology or their natal chart, they just don't really know where to start. And sometimes reading the information isn't enough. And so having someone kind of talk it out and reflect back to you maybe what those roadblocks, what those problems that you're coming up with, and how you can kind of navigate and move through them. And so these three things I use a lot in my strategy sessions. Where would you want to start? Sometimes really connecting to your intuition can feel very overwhelming. Like you want to have a flow with life, you're not really sure where to start, and you don't know how to navigate that, because I really find that the more we learn about ourselves, the more empowered we are to live a life with purpose, but also understanding who we are, honoring our own boundaries, and just being able to reignite the spark within us. So I'm going to talk about some tangible things also that have helped me in elevating, strengthening my intuition. Things that I can do on a daily basis to help connect me with my intuition is creating a morning ritual where I really focus on myself, my mental, my physical, my soul needs for the day. And it doesn't have to be hours on end. I really only spend about 20 minutes in the morning, and a lot of times it's broken up. I have 2 small children, and while the idea of having uninterrupted time of an hour to prep myself for the day, it's just not feasible. But spending 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there is better than 0 minutes. So I would suggest starting with a morning routine so that really connect with yourself. And a big part of mine is not having my phone, not having it by me in the morning. That way I can go right into it. Also moving my body and nourishing myself so that I know that the first thing that hits my stomach is healthy for me. And that's drinking athletic greens. That's one of the things that has changed my morning routine so much for the better. Another thing that I do to connect with my intuition is meditation. It is not something that I do at a set time in the day. Sometimes I'm really good about it, and sometimes I lag on it. Just know that it's something that you're not meant to control. You are meant to let it be. Those thoughts, honor them to come through and kind of let them go. Sometimes I use guided meditations. Honestly, that's why I make my own meditations, because I get exactly what I'm looking for. So guided meditations are a great way if you need something to walk you through the process. But a lot of times I just like sitting with solfeggio frequencies and just kind of allowing what comes through for me at the moment. When I started this journey, I did a lot of journaling. And my journaling has kind of fallen by the wayside. And I'm thinking about doing a voice diary. I find that I process information better when I speak it than when I write it. And I think I can do it while I'm walking. So I'm kind of doing like a double dose. That could be counterintuitive. I'm not sure. I'm literally thinking of this idea as we speak because I like the idea of being able to process what I need to process, but writing for me is just not something that feeds my soul. And maybe if I talk out a few things with myself, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Stay tuned. Walking in nature, what I was just saying, is another big piece. I find that I really connect with myself in nature. I forget to go outside. I really love that I can work from home. That was something that was really deep in my soul and my heart, that I could really do the daily work life from home and then still have the option to go do and experience things. So getting outside is not as easy as it once was because I would get in my car and I would drive to work. And so I have a beautiful backyard. I love my neighborhood. So walking outside really kind of rejuvenates myself and really helps me kind of connect with myself. And so the last thing I use is Oracle and tarot cards. They are a very external thing, and so I recommend meditation, journaling before you head to the tarot. Tarot is a great way because it's something that reflects what you need to hear internally, but it's still an external thing. I would still encourage you to give that space for yourself, really be able to process without having to look at something externally. And so I do pull cards a few times a week, almost every day, not quite. I don't beat myself up when I don't. I'm going to share my 3 favorite decks that I use. So I use something called Mystic Monday Tarot. I like the cards. They're fun, modern. They have a little bit of an iridescent look to them. But to be honest, I don't love the description of the different cards. I wanted to learn more in depth. And one of my friends gifted me the guided tarot book, and it's been really helpful to kind of uncover really what tarot means. My next one is my most recent purchase, and to be honest, it's called Earth Magic by Stephen D. Farmer, and I did not love it at first. I was kind of disappointed when I got it, and then it's become one of my favorites, and I just love that it has earth elements, it's got animals, it's got a little bit of everything, so I love the variety that it has in it. And so it's quickly become one of my favorites, even though at first I did not like it. My last one is Ganesha. I've really found a connection with honoring Ganesha. It's the Lord of remover of obstacles. And I found that's been my whole journey is I've had a whole lot of obstacles, a whole lot of learning. And so when I can kind of lean in and surrender to the idea of Ganesha and really see what I need to learn to kind of propel myself forward. And so I love these decks. I have other ones if you would want more recommendations, but it's really finding what resonates with you. If you shop for cards, like what speaks to you? If you shop for crystals, if that's something that you want to get into, what speaks to you? The whole purpose of the spiritual journey, learning about yourself, is honoring about what you want. What do you want deep down? And so if you can find those things that can really strengthen that, be open to learning, be open to trying new things, I really feel like we can all do beautiful things in the world. And that's really what I want, is I want people to be living from a place of purpose and passion. And that's why I'm here. So I hope this episode was, inspiring for you. Please share with a friend if you found anything that could help someone else, if you found value in it. And if you have anything you want to share, episode ideas, I'd love to hear it. All that information will be in the show notes, and we'll chat soon.